Welcome to Parlay TV.
Plenty of things look easy at first. Skydiving, lion taming. From the comfort of your armchair, all sorts of risks look easy as
Cristiano Ronaldo, Diogo Jota, and Bruno Fernandes literally
blew Russia off the park in a clinical display of attacking football.
Wow.
Sorry, what did you say, Kobe?
Wow, bro.
Let's break it down.
I am Pat Mayo, and I'm here to give you the best pick at the top of the board, the best bet, if you will.
So I'm going to go with just under 25 for Middleton here.
Welcome back, everybody, to Spreadzies here on the Parlay. I'm your host, Luca, alongside my co-host, Jelani, and we are back with our NFL Week 13 picks. It was another crazy week of NFL action, the Thanksgiving edition, and I personally did not do well after Thanksgiving. I was perfect on Thanksgiving Day, 3-0, but then after that, I only got 2 right. I was 5-10 overall last week to now bring my overall record to 76-73. I'm just hanging on over 500. So I look to rebound this week. Jelani, how was your week?
Yeah, so this week I did pretty well at the start, like with the 1 o'clock games and things like that. But then when we look at the late games in the day, it looked pretty bad for me. I ended up being 7-8 this week. So overall, 78-70 on the year. So I've regained the lead. So shout out to myself on that one. I'm happy about that. But yeah, the games were interesting. We saw a lot of big ones. One that stands out to me, though, I'd say was the Chargers game. I thought that they would come out a lot better against Denver, and we just didn't see that. I don't know what happened. I think, the high altitude, being in Mile High, and the Denver Broncos have a really nice defense, right? So I saw that the Chargers, their offense really, really struggled, and Justin Herbert couldn't get throws down the field, I should say. So that was a struggle. But what about you? What stood out to you on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to go to Thanksgiving. How about the Raiders beating the Cowboys outright? All of a sudden, the Cowboys, they got a ton of problems. They started off the season well, and now they're quickly, dippy. And on Sunday, I would have to probably go with the Steelers. I mean, that was one of my favorite picks for this week to at least keep it close and make things interesting. I mean, Cincinnati just blew them out of the water. So I don't know what's going on in Pittsburgh right now. Big Ben and company, they do not look good. They're struggling on both sides of the ball. And Cincinnati, that was a big win for them. That's been a team that's been inconsistent lately. But coming off that win against the Raiders, they go home and they take care of business against the Steelers, beating them twice in one season, Jelani, for the first time since 2009. Cincinnati, they're flexing their muscles, and they're showing people that they're looking like a playoff team going into this year. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes. But if there's been one theme or one takeaway, any given Sunday, you don't know what's going to happen.
That's right. I agree.
All right, let's jump right into our picks, and we're going to start with Thursday night football. It's going to be a good one. The Dallas Cowboys, they have lost their last couple games. They're taking on another team that is going in the opposite direction, the New Orleans Saints. Who do you like here, Jelani?
I like my Dallas Cowboys here. It's going to be a huge game for the Cowboys because you mentioned it. We have dropped 3 of the last 4. And now you're looking at the NFC East, teams like Washington, teams like, Philadelphia. They're not too far from us. So as a Cowboys fan, I hope that this one ends up being a good win for us. We need it. That would bring us to 8-4. I'm looking at the fact that Amari Cooper, he was out with the COVID-19, protocols. He had to undergo the protocols. Is he back this week? We don't know yet, right? Because there are some rumors that he still has the cough. He's still feeling a bit ill. So he's not guaranteed to be out there on Thursday night. And you're looking at CeeDee Lamb. He's going to be back. And also you have DeMarcus Lawrence. So there are reinforcements for Dallas all over the board. But when you're looking at the Saints, they're also a team that was banged up, right, over the past few weeks. And now you're seeing that they're going to probably start Taysom Hill. He's going to get the first team reps. How is he going to look out there against the Cowboys defense, who has been pretty good this year? They did have an off day against the Raiders. But yeah, I think that the Cowboys just getting some key guys back will be beneficial. They just have to run the ball, honestly. They have to give the ball to Tony Pollard and see what he does. Ezekiel Elliott with the knee, probably not going to get that action, but give it to Pollard.
Yeah, we're going to see which one of these two teams act more desperate than the other. Both these teams need to win. I think more so the Cowboys, especially what's going on, behind them. The Eagles have been winning some games, and things are getting awfully close in the NFC playoff picture. I do expect the Cowboys to come up with a much better performance here. I think their offense is going to look a lot better. Saints defense has been good, but like you said, so many injuries just piling up on that team. They cannot keep up. There's a lot of guys out. We'll see how Hill does, but Simeon, he has not looked good since he helped the Saints beat the Buccaneers that week. The Cowboys, they are going to be without Mike McCarthy, who tested positive for COVID-19. So we'll see how they fare without him. But overall, I think Dallas is the play here. They're perfect 6-0 against the spread in their last 6 games against the NFC, and the Saints are just 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 games against the conference. The Saints, I don't trust them at this point. I mean, their defense probably makes this interesting in the first half, but I just don't think they're going to be able to keep up with the Cowboys. And the Cowboys definitely got to get back on track with their offense. We're talking about this team as being one of the best offenses, and they've stalled the last 2 weeks. So I think this is a good opportunity for them to get back on track and get a much-needed win. So I'll take the 4.5 here. I'll lay it with the Cowboys.
Yeah, I agree. And also the Saints have allowed 94 points in the last 3 games, so that should help Dak and company. But now we have the Arizona Cardinals favored against the Chicago Bears. Who are you taking here?
Yeah, 8 seems like a lot of points on the road, but I got to go with Zona coming off the bye. Murray expected to go in this one. We'll see how he looks. Chicago, they almost lost to the Lions. I don't know what's going on in Chicago right now. There's obviously a lot of question marks there. Nagy, how much longer does he have as head coach of the Bears? That remains to be seen. Andy Dalton, he had a decent game. He did what he needed to do to just get by against the Lions, but I honestly thought the Lions were going to win that game. The Lions had a couple of big chances to win that game. Yeah, they should, right? So I think just you look at both of these teams in the grand scheme of things, very big discrepancy. Arizona, they're 4-1 against the spread against teams with a losing record, and the Bears are 0-4 against the spread as a home underdog. So just because they're at home, just because they're getting the points here, doesn't mean they're going to be a safe bet. Cardinals, they're, a step above the pack. They've been playing like a legitimate Super Bowl team. They got so many weapons. They're getting healthier at the right time. I expect them to look good in the second half, just as they did in the first half of the season. So I'm going to take those 8 points.
Yeah, I'm going with Arizona as well. We're probably going to see the return of Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. That's, still unknown right now. But if those 2 guys come back, you're obviously going to, favor the Cardinals. They are still number 1 in the NFC right now, and they've managed to win games even without their best players. So if Kyler's back, we'll see their offense take new heights, right? And we're seeing that Cliff Kingsbury, he's a good coach. He's in the Coach of the Year talks this season. So, all the rumors about Oklahoma Sooners, is he going to go there or not? Those are happening right now. He's going to cancel those out. He's going to have a good week and probably out-coach Matt Nagy and Chicago. So I think that the Bears, look, they're all over the place. I don't know if Justin Fields is going to even be out there, right? That's probably an unlikely situation. So I think that the Cardinals are the pick here.
When we're going to have the Jets, they're going to be the favorites here. Who do you like in that game between the Jets? And sorry, I don't have the game right here in front of me, but I know they're an underdog.
Yeah, they are.
Against the Eagles. There we go. I was remembering,
yeah.
like, who they play. It's an NFC East team, and they're not that good. It's the Eagles. That's right. Okay.
Yeah,
so the Eagles -6.5 on the road against the Jets. Do you like the Jets to cover? They've been a pretty good bet at home as a dog, or do you think the Eagles are gonna flex them up?
Yeah, no, I definitely think the Jets are not getting this one done. I'm sorry, Jets fans. I know that the Jets had a nice performance against Houston, but I think that Philly should be the pick here. The Eagles just need to run the ball well again, right? They've been running the ball really efficiently, really effectively the past few games. They've even touched 200 total rush yards. So if you're looking at that and the fact that Robert Saleh, his defense hasn't been playing well this year, right? They played the Texans, but come on, that's the Texans, no offense. This is a better team in terms of what they could do. The weapons for Jalen Hurts, they didn't show up against New York. I think that this is a spot where Jalen Hurts will have a lot more help, get a lot more help from his supporting cast, guys like Smith or Sanders in the backfield. I think that they're going to have a big day. And honestly, they're angry, right? Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, they had a chance to really get closer to the Cowboys for that number 1 spot in the NFC East. They dropped that game against their rival Giants. So they're still 2 games back of the Cowboys. They want to get a win here just to make sure that they're still in the thick of things because Washington also picked up a win. So I think the Eagles are angry. They're going to get this one done. Sorry, Jets.
If there's one time I'm trusting the Jets, it's when they are an underdog at home. They cover in this spot. I think they're going to do it here. I think they're going to make this game interesting. I mean, I did not like, how Hurts looked last game. 3 picks, like you mentioned, only completed 45% of his passes. That's a game the Eagles should have won. I mean, you're supposed to be, head and shoulders better than the Giants. And the fact that the Giants won that game, I think the Eagles are just one of those teams that once you think they're ready to show signs of life, they go back to their old ways of losing football games. They're 4-9 against the spread in their last 13 road games. I like the Jets in the spot, Jelani. I think they're going to make it interesting. I mean, Zach Wilson, he was getting criticized heavily for how he played in the first quarter of that game against the Texans. I know I was on Twitter talking my trash about him, and then he came out in quarters number 2, 3, and 4. He actually put forth a good game. He was moving the football, wasn't turning it over. The Jets defense came up. You see more there. He had a couple of big plays as well. So the Jets got a win that they needed to get against the Texans, and I think they're feeling good about themselves right now, and they're going to be at home, like I said, a place where they have pulled off some upsets, most notably against the Bengals. I think they're going to cover here. I'll take them plus 6.5.
All right, and moving on to the Indianapolis Colts. They are playing their rival Houston Texans on Sunday. Who's your pick here?
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Big number, but I'm going to go with the Colts -9. I think, the Texans, they look better, since Taylor came back, but this is still not a very good football team. You look at the Colts, they are the superior team, 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 road games, and they're 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 as a road favorite. So I'm going with a lot of numbers this week, as you can tell. But Carson Wentz, I think he will have a big day here. He struggled a little bit against the Buccaneers, but we've seen the Colts against bad teams take care of business. So I think given the fact that the Colts are still fighting for potential division, to lead that division or a potential playoff spot, they got to win this game. The Texans clearly in a rebuild, retool. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose the rest of the season, try to get a good draft pick, especially since they lost to the Jets. So the Colts, I think they are going to put up a ton of points here. Their defense is going to make things tough for Taylor and company, who has been throwing a lot of picks lately. So I do like the Colts to cover this number. I think 9. I think will be more than 9. So I'll go with the Colts here.
Yeah, I agree here. I think that the Colts should be the pick. Their defense should be able to limit the big play, should be able to contain Tyrod Taylor and their offense, just keep the Texans' offense pedestrian this week. So we'll see what happens. I mean, there are certain games where Tyrod looks really good, and there are plenty where it's just not it, right? So I think this is a spot where the Colts end up winning. They should have had it against Tampa Bay. They ended up losing that one. So they're going to work hard this week. They know it's a divisional game. They know they have to come up big and get this win. So they're going to get a win here. I think it's going to be pretty wide of a margin. I say by at least 2 touchdowns. I believe that also Carson Wentz is going to have a nice day.
All right, next game. We got a good one here. We got the Chargers taking on the Bengals, and the Bengals are the slight favorites here at home. Do you like the Chargers to rebound or what?
I do. I think that a lot of people are going with the hype of the Bengals, and they just, dismantled the Steelers. But I'm looking at this quarterback matchup. Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, 2 guys I like, 2 young guys in the NFL that will, carry the league in the future. I just think that, honestly, this is a game where the Chargers need a win, right? They've been very inconsistent this year. There are games where they look really good, and there are games where they look really bad. And when they are playing well, when they are playing good football, they look like one of the best teams in the AFC. I think that's what's going to happen this weekend. Honestly, in Denver, their weapons didn't really do much, right? There wasn't that air attack that we were expecting. And also Austin Eckler, he didn't have that type of, fantasy day where he just destroys everybody. So I think that this week, the Chargers are going to have a lot better game. Brandon Staley will have a good game plan. I think that the coaching matchup with he and Zach Taylor, I think that Staley's going to win that, and that's going to cause them to win this one. So give me the Chargers.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was very disappointed with the Chargers' effort against the Broncos. I just think that was a bad spot. The Broncos got some guys back on defense. They're healthy. They're coming off their bye. They're at home. I think the Chargers are going to bounce back here. But you hit it on the head, Jelani. Like, which version of the Chargers is going to show up? One week they look like a potential dark horse in the AFC, and then the next week they can barely beat teams like the Broncos, or they lose to teams against like the Broncos. So we don't know what Chargers team is going to show up, but usually coming off a pretty bad loss, the Chargers do show up, and I think Herbert will be required to lead that offense that was stagnant against the Broncos. And I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. This is going to be a game that I think goes down to the wire. You look at Cincinnati, like I mentioned earlier on in the show, impressive statement win against the Steelers. They sweep a team that has given them so many problems over the years, so many weapons, Mixon, Chase. They literally spread the wealth out there, and when they are clicking, they are a fun team to watch. But the same could be said about the Chargers, and I do think the Chargers, they will show up here. This is going to be a fun, entertaining, high-scoring game. But Herbert will probably have the ball last, and he will make the play to possibly win the game, as he's shown in the past that under big-time pressure-packed moments, he shows up. But like you said, Jelani, both of these quarterbacks, I mean, we are looking at the future right before our very eyes. The NFL is in a good place with these two guys healthy at the quarterback position.
Should be a fun game. I'm also looking at the kicking game. I think the kickers are going to be very important in that one. Now, moving forward to this divisional matchup we have in the NFC South, we have the Atlanta Falcons playing host to the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Bucks favored by 11 here. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. The Falcons have been very inconsistent too. This is probably going to be an unpopular pick, but I'm going to go with the points here. I'm going to go with the home dog. I'm going with the Falcons. I think 11 is way too many. You look at the Buccaneers, 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 road games. This is a team that hasn't really been covering the number lately. And the Colts had that game. They did. They were in great position to win. They're up by 10, midway through the third, and then obviously they did what they did, and Tom Brady orchestrated that comeback. But you look at the Falcons coming off a pretty nice win against the Jags, and this is a team that still has playoff aspirations. I mean, you look at the bottom of the NFC, it's crazy how many teams still have a chance because of the new, wild card spot and because of the new, there being an extra week. So there are teams still jostling for position, and the Falcons are one of them. Matt Ryan, he's familiar with his Buccaneers team. I know the Bucs have had the Falcons number over the years, but I just think this is way too many points. I think the Falcons are at the very least going to keep this game competitive. I don't think they're going to win, but I mean, I think they won't lose by 2 touchdowns. I mean, I can even see it being like a 10-point loss. So I will take the Falcons here at home against Tom Brady and the Bucs.
I'm going to go with Tom Brady and the Bucks. I think that, you're talking about the history of these two teams playing against each other. The Bucks have had a good time with Brady under the helm, against the Falcons. I think that, you're also looking against the spread. Tampa's 4-1 when the spread is double digits like we have here, right? So I think Tom Brady and these guys are going to get yet another win that could keep pace with the Cardinals and Packers atop the NFC. They're still trying to get that number 1 seed, and it's still within striking distance. So this is a good spot for them just to have another good win. And honestly, the Atlanta defense doesn't impress me. They've had a lot of games where they get exposed. And last week we saw Leonard Fournette have a big day. I expect that the Bucks will use Fournette a lot as well as the last game. I think that they're going to have him run the ball effectively and probably get in the end zone a number of times. And obviously we know what the Bucks can do in the air. So yeah, I don't think this game's going to be close. But yeah, Atlanta is surprisingly still in the mix for a playoff spot. Hard to believe. But yeah, I just don't see this one being close.
Okay, next game, we got a team that's been playing really well. How about the Miami Dolphins? You talk about a team that had no business being in the playoff race. Some way, somehow are there. They're at home, -3 favorites against the Giants.
Yeah, I'm going with Miami. I buy the hype. Look, they're on a 4-game win streak. I don't think anyone saw this coming. And they're honestly in the thick of things in the AFC if they get a win this weekend and another one. So they're playing some teams like the Giants and Jets, coming up on their schedule. They could possibly become a 7-7 team with a few games left in the year, right? So you're looking at the fact that their defense has been, one of the better defenses in the league as of late. Xavier Howard, as you see on the screen, he's led the charge, and also the pressure that they're putting on all these quarterbacks is really the reason why they're winning these games. Brian Flores has had a game plan each and every week over the past few weeks that has been effective, that has worked. And I think, when you're looking at how they bothered Cam Newton on Sunday, how they bothered Lamar Jackson, they'll bother Daniel Jones. I don't think that the Giants O-line could hold up. They never really hold up. Let's be honest with ourselves. So yeah, I think that Miami is going to have a big day and probably win again. And also Tua, he's had a great year, right? I think people were too quick to want to move off of Tua, but definitely in the second part of the season, he's been playing really well. And you're looking at, he was very efficient on Sunday, 27 for 31 for 230. So that's an 87%, completion rate. If he does that again, I think Miami's good. And you're also looking at Jalen Waddle. I think Waddle is going to have a big day on this, on Sunday. So yeah, give me the Miami Dolphins here.
Yeah, I love the Dolphins here, and I love what they've been able to do to turn their season around. I mean, this is the Dolphins team that we expected to see start the season, and we're finally seeing what they're capable of. That defense has been very lethal, like you said, pressuring the quarterback, creating turnovers, having Tua work with short fields. And I just think they're going to cause havoc on Daniel Jones, who is a guy that, yeah, we know under pressure does not fare well. And I'm very happy for Tua Tagovailoa. As you mentioned, so much pressure for the guy that, his days in Miami were unnumbered. Deshaun Watson's name kept coming up, and he was the ultimate competitor. He just went out there. He just continued to play his game. So I'm happy that he's finally starting to see some success, and the Dolphins are looking good with him at the helm. He's able to move the ball. He's mobile. He's making the throws that he needs to make. So very happy for Tua. This Miami Dolphins team, I think, is legitimate now. That defense is clicking. Everybody is happy there. The morale has changed significantly. Brian Flores has those guys playing hard. I like the Dolphins to keep their winning streak going, which will be 5 with a win here at home against the Giants.
Okay, and now an NFC North matchup. We have the Vikings and the Lions. Vikings favored by a touchdown.
So Dalvin Cook, shoulder injury, expected to miss the next 2 games. I think that's going to be big here. The Lions have proven one thing. They can't win a game, but they keep games close. I think they're going to keep this one close, and this is going to be another one of those games where they have a chance to win at the end. Remember, when these two teams met the first time, the Lions should have won that game. Dan Campbell went for 2. They got it with Jared Goff at the helm. And then what happened? Kirk Cousins went down the field for that game-winning field goal, and the Vikings won, breaking Lions fans' hearts. I think they're going to return the favor here. I mean, I don't think – am I saying they're going to win? Maybe, but I do like them to take the point to cover here, so I am going to take the points. I do like them to make this game interesting. The Lions, they continue to play hard. They continue to be in these games, and I mean, the football gods have to grant them at least one win before the season is done. I know they have a tie, but they got to get a win. Minnesota, though, this is going to be a game that they really need. They lost, of course, against the Niners. They're still very much alive in the playoff picture. And like I mentioned before, it's going to be very, very tight over there in the NFC playoff picture. So the Vikings cannot afford to lose 2 in a row, especially to the lowly Lions. So Vikings probably still find a way with Kirk Cousins at the helm to win, but I do like the Lions to keep this game close. So I will take the 7.
Yeah, I'm taking the Vikings here. I think the Vikings are, the better team, better roster construction. I think that Kirk Cousins, he's had a good year this year, and a lot of people have overlooked him. But yeah, he's had a Pro Bowl type year. I think this is a spot that the Vikings see themselves winning this game, right? They're coming off of that tough loss against San Francisco that they needed for the NFC wildcard picture. So this is a spot that the Lions are probably going to play hard. Like we mentioned, like they always do play hard, it seems, but they just can't, buy a win. They can't find a way to get it done when late and when it matters most. I think the Vikings are, going to have that type of game where they just outmatch them in all phases. I see that the defense is going to have a good game. And even though Dalvin Cook isn't going to be there, he's going to miss the next few games, I do think that they're going to rely a lot on Kirk Cousins. I just would want to see, Madison run the ball pretty well in the absence of Dalvin Cook. We'll see how that works out. But yeah, as for the Lions offense, DeAndre Swift, he's probably not going to play. We're not too sure. He suffered a torn labrum and, the shoulder. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I got the Vikings.
Yeah, that would be a big loss if Swift's unable to go for the Lions. He's been huge for them. One of their only bright spots, it seems, on that team. Okay, next game. How about this, Jelani? The Rams haven't won a game in a month, but yet they're a 13-point favorite at home against the Jags. Are you laying the points here?
I am going to take the Rams. I think that the Rams are, playing really weird football as of late. And a lot of people want to take shots at my Cowboys for dropping 3 of the last 4. Hello, there's a team in LA who's doing the same thing. Against teams that are above 500, they're 1-4. And they haven't been able to, have good performances against those teams. But when you're looking at the Rams playing subpar teams and teams that are below average, they just take them right off the field. Like, they destroy them. So I think this is another week that we're going to see a really big break playing the, no disrespect, but they're going to see this as a must win. Why? Because when you're looking at the future, they're going to play teams like Arizona, Seattle, Minnesota, Baltimore, and San Francisco. That is their last 5 games. Those are their last 5 games on the schedule. It's a very tough schedule when you look at it. So you have the Jaguars here. You got to get this done. If they don't, then I don't even know if they're a playoff team. And they haven't been looking like one over the last few weeks. But yes, I do see that this is a game where Matt Stafford, he'll be having a good day. I think that this is a game where he's going to get his confidence back. And also that defense is going to have a nice day against Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, who would have thought with Von Miller and OBJ, the Rams have not won a game still.
Yeah.
So I think this is a spot, though, where they're going to let all that frustration out on the field and they are going to bounce back in a big way. Like you said, they do take care of business against bad teams. And I think this is just going to be a long day at the office for the Jags, who don't fare well against good competition. Let's call it for what it is. Trevor Lawrence has shown some good signs this season, but he still obviously ways away. And the Jags team is still ways away before they're going to be taken seriously. So, yeah, I do like the Rams to win this game big. Like you said, Stafford, he needs his confidence to be back on track. Last couple of games throwing pick sixes. He's going to have a big game here. This entire team's going to have a big game on both sides of the ball. And if they somehow don't, yeah, there is very a big panic in Los Angeles, because everybody was quick to write this team to the Super Bowl after they made those big moves and with how well they were playing. But after dropping their last couple of games, we're starting to see some vulnerabilities with this team. So they got to come out with a strong performance. Even if this game is close, Jelani, that is a big failure for the Rams. They should easily win this game. I'm talking at least by, 2-3 touchdowns. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams minus 13. Hopefully they don't prove us wrong.
Okay, and now we have the Washington football team and the Las Vegas Raiders. It's a good game, actually. So who's your pick here?
Yeah, I was back and forth with this one. Both these teams have been playing well lately, especially Washington. So I am going to go with them, the hot team lately. I really like Taylor Heineke. This is exactly what the football team needed at the helm. He won that starting job last season, and he has been as advertised. He makes game-winning plays out there, whether it's with his feet, with his arm. He is the ultimate gamer, ultimate competitor. This football team defense has gotten back on track after they struggled to begin the season. That defense, we saw how good it could be last season. And obviously, Young went down, so people are looking at this football team as a team that you could just write off. But don't look now. They've won a couple games in a row. Their defense, once again, made life misery for Russell Wilson, who is a veteran, very good quarterback, as we know. And the football team, they got confidence. They got momentum. I don't trust the Raiders. I just don't. I know they got a really big win against your Cowboys, but usually when you think the Raiders are starting to come around, what do? They lay an egg. Especially when they're at home. They have not even been a safe bet at home. So I do like the football team to get another win. And that's a team that looked completely out of it at the start of the season. And if they could get this win, they're going to find themselves right there in the playoff picture. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I'm going Washington as well. And also, I'm looking at Darren Waller. He's probably not going to be out there for the Raiders. He got hurt on Thanksgiving. So that's a big blow. They did manage to win against the Cowboys, but just not having Darren Waller there, down the stretch, it's going to catch up to them at some point. So I think the Raiders and Derek Carr, they're going to have to find different ways to win this game, right? And Washington, as for them, I just look at the fact that they'll probably manage to get points on the board. The Raiders defense hasn't been that great, even though they beat Dallas last week. It was another game where they let a lot of points on the board. The Cowboys went crazy in the fourth quarter. I think that Washington being 3-1 against the spread, when they put up 26 plus points. I think they're going to get that this week. They're probably going to get points on the board, probably, let's say, around 30. Why? Because I just don't put too much faith in the Raiders defense this weekend. And also it's because Antonio Gibson, he's had a very good stretch as of late. Past 2 games, he's had 95 yards rushing, 111 yards. So when you're looking at that, I think that they're going to rely on Gibson a lot on the ground just to out physical the Raiders on Sunday. So yeah, give me Washington.
Okay, we agree there. Next game, we got the Steelers taking on my Ravens, and the Ravens are a 3.5-point favorite.
I got Baltimore. They just find ways to pull out games. I don't even know how it's possible at this point, but they keep doing it. And we saw Lamar, he had a bad game and they still managed. So I think here against the Steelers, it's going to be a rough game. It's going to be an ugly game. But like I just said, the Ravens usually win ugly games. And also Big Ben, this guy, he looked really bad against the Bengals. I think Baltimore's defense is going to do, similar things to what they did to the Browns. And they, got to Baker Mayfield. They bothered Baker Mayfield. I think that the Steelers are going to have a long, long day at the office. It will be close, but ultimately the Ravens will pull out the victory by probably a touchdown. And I expect a stronger game from Lamar Jackson. And also TJ Watt, he might not be out there because of COVID.
Yeah, a lot of bad things happening to the Steelers right now. I've lost all faith in this team. I thought they were maybe going to be a fringe borderline playoff team. I don't think so. And the Ravens, I know they have, been on a roller coaster. I mean, my emotions have been on a roller coaster watching this team. One week they look good. Next week, they're playing down to the wire. And I have no idea how they won that game against the Browns. Lamar Jackson had 4 picks? I think he's only like one of 2 quarterbacks ever to win a game despite throwing 4 picks. So yeah, the Ravens, this is a game that I do think they will look much better in compared to that game against the Browns. They are going to have their way with the Steelers. And you look at the Steelers, Jelani, in their last 7 home games, only 1-6 against the spread. There's a lot of question marks with this team on offense, defense. Not having Watt's going to be big. And I just think the Ravens are going to look at this as an opportunity to, again, just separate themselves from the pack in that division. Obviously, you got the Bengals right there. I think ultimately it's going to come down to the Bengals and the Ravens for that division crown. So they will beat the lesser Steelers, who I think from this point on are just going to have one of those seasons that get away from them.
Okay, and another divisional game, we have the Niners and the Seahawks. Niners are favored here.
I mean, the pick's got to be the Niners, right? Like, the Seahawks have looked so bad this season. I mean, how about that game on Monday? Just when you think they might come back, win a game that saves their season, Russell Wilson on the goal line, it's not a good match. They don't get the 2-point conversion. Even that onside kick, I thought they had it, and then, they had to redo it thanks to a penalty. It's been a long, long season for Russell Wilson. I do think this is going to be the end of an era between he and Carroll. I think the Seahawks team is on their way to a complete rebuild at the end of the season. It's just, the end of what has been a great decade in Seattle. I mean, so much success, so many winning seasons that this is uncharted territory for them. So going back to who I think is going to win and cover, yeah, I think the Niners are the play here. The Niners are going in the opposite direction. They have won 3 games in a row now. They're finding ways to win. So many options offensively. They got their defense rolling. Shanahan, you got to give him credit. He's got those guys playing at an all-time high level. And I look at this Niners team. You want to talk about dark horses in the NFC. The way they're playing right now, if they can go on a run and continue this throughout, man, don't sleep on this Niners team of possibly going into the playoffs and doing some things. They were heavily hyped coming into the season. They were, of course, off to that rocky start, unable to win at home. But now that they're feeling good about themselves, especially Jimmy G, who was going to be the wild card in all of this, he's starting to look good under the helm. And he knows Trey Lance, it's only a matter of time until he's a starting quarterback. So he's handled this very, very well. I like the Niners to beat a Seahawks team that is just going the opposite direction right now.
I'm going to go with the Niners as well. I was actually flip-flopping on this one because it's a divisional matchup and it's a close one. But yeah, the Seattle Seahawks are done. I think that is over. I want Russ to cook somewhere else. I want him to go to another team now. I just think that they're past their prime, overall as a team, as a franchise. It's just not looking good. They're 3-8. Who would have thought that would be their record at this point? I think that San Francisco is going to go in there and probably get a victory, But Deebo Samuel, he did get hurt in their last game against the Vikes. So we'll see how their offense does without Deebo. Deebo does so much in the pass game, in the running game. So that's a big blow if he's not available. But yeah, Seattle, they did play Washington tough. But overall this year, their defense just hasn't been there. And also their offense, they can't get points on the board anymore. It just looks weird. And I don't know what's the issue. I don't know if it's because they're absent a running game and there's too much, relying on the arm of Russell Wilson. I'm just not sure. But yeah, I think Kyle Shanahan and the Niners get one done here.
Yeah, I never thought this day would be coming, honestly, especially seeing Russ struggle out there. He does not look like the same Russ whatsoever. Okay, to Sunday Night Football we go. We got the Broncos taking on the Chiefs. 10-point favorites here, the Chiefs are. Do you think they got the line right?
It's a pretty big number, but I'm going to go with it. I think the Chiefs are back. Honestly, they've been playing a lot better football over the past few weeks. Patrick Mahomes, we know about him. I think that, despite the fact that he's had some picks on the year and, certain poor decision making at times, he's had a good year. Look at the stats, right? So I think he's going to be fine. I think the Chiefs defense, though, that's really the point of them. They have managed to just shut teams down, right? The past 4 outings, they just haven't allowed teams to score, right? And when you're looking at this, this matchup between the Chiefs and the Broncos, this rivalry, the Chiefs, that is, they've outscored Denver 118-41 in their past 4 meetings. That means a lot to me. I think that it's going to be a similar game. I don't know if the Denver Broncos will hang offensively with the Kansas City Chiefs, right? And again, just pointing at the Chiefs defense, they've only allowed 11.8 points per game in their recent stretch where they've gone on a 4-game win streak. So yeah, overall, with the Chiefs ranking 13th in, scoring defense and Patrick Mahomes and the offense kind of finding their way right now, they're going to be atop the AFC when it's all said and done. I think that Kansas City is back and they get a win.
Yeah, I do think the Chiefs are back, but I do think this is way too many points in a divisional game. I don't think we're giving Denver enough credit. This is a team that's gotten some pretty big wins this season, and they are a pretty sure bet on the road. They're 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 road games. You got to credit what they've been able to do there in Denver. Bridgewater, after going down with concussion, he has bounced back, doing what he needs to do to move the ball. That defense has been making plays. We saw what they did against Justin Herbert and that explosive Chargers offense. And the Chiefs, they have not been a safe bet at home lately. 2-10 against the spread and their last 12 at home. So the Broncos, this is a team that you can write off. We saw what they did when they were heavy underdogs against the Cowboys. They won that game all right. I don't think they're going to win this game, but I do think they're going to make things interesting. And but yeah, I agree. The Chiefs, they are back. All those things that we said before about them, they're going to be just fine. They're probably going to win this division, and I wouldn't be surprised if they end up making another Super Bowl run. But I just think, given the spot, divisional game, Broncos coming off a solid win, their defense playing really well, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game on Sunday Night Football, so I will take the points.
All right, we'll see if the Broncos defense shows up. And Monday Night Football, another big game for the AFC and AFC East, specifically the New England Patriots and Buffalo Bills. Who's your pick here? It's a great game.
Streak, is it going to come to an end here? I don't think so. I cannot bet against this Patriots team right now. Bill Belichick and company, they are clicking on all cylinders. Mac Jones making plays, that defense looking very scary. But this is a big game for the Bills. If you're the Bills, you want to shut people up. You want to silence the critics. You want to prove that it doesn't matter if the Patriots are back. This is still your division to lose. This is the game to do it. Primetime television, Monday night. You're at home. Those fans are going to be crazy. Bill Mafia is going to be going crazy. So this is a bigger game to me, Jelani, for the Bills than it is for the Patriots. The Patriots, they've exceeded their expectations already. Nobody expected them to do this. So the Bills, they have fallen a little bit from grace lately. This is a team that we thought was going to run away with the AFC on their way to a Super Bowl. But Josh Allen obviously bounced back really well on Thursday Night Football against the Saints. That offense put a big number against a good defense. This is going to be the Patriots' toughest challenge of this win streak. But just given history, given Belichick's track record against this Bills team, I know it's a completely different Bills team, but I just got to go with the hot hand right now. I got to go with the hot side. I like the Patriots to not only cover, but win this game outright. I think they're for real.
We'll see what happens. I got Buffalo in this one. I think Buffalo just winning that game in New Orleans, they got their confidence back, right? Because before that game, they weren't playing good football at all. And then everything worked out in New Orleans. So I think they're back on track. Both teams have 8 wins against the spread. It's going to be a great game. I just want to see more balance, though, from the Bills. I do trust Josh Allen in this spot, but I want to see more of the running game, right? And we saw on Sunday, Tennessee, without Derrick Henry, they managed to run all over the Patriots in that game, 200 plus yards on the ground. So if the Bills could find a way to run the football, that will help a ton, right? And I think, honestly, when you're looking at this divisional matchup, it'll be time of possession that wins this game, right? Let's say Mac Jones and company, they manage to, kill the clock and, get down the field, things of that nature. They'll probably win the game. But on the other side, if Josh Allen and company with that good offense, if they manage to do things and keep the ball, I think that they'll win. So it's really time of possession in Buffalo, right? It's going to be a tough game. Like you mentioned, Bills Mafia is going to be a tough game for the New England Patriots. But yeah, when you're looking at the AFC, if the Pats get this done, they're, atop the AFC. It's amazing to think about right now. But I think the Buffalo Bills, they understand this is a spot where they need a W. They need to get this done, right? Like you said, just to make sure that people, buy into them as a contender in the AFC. I think that the Bills will win this game, and I do think that the spread favors them here. Both strong defenses, of course, but it will be close. But yeah, I got the Buffalo Bills.
Awesome. Well, it should be a great game, and it should be another exciting week of the NFL. As you see our picks, Jelani and I, we agree with many, but there's going to be a few that determine how we do head-to-head this week. Of course, you look at the bottom there, a couple of different picks. If I had to look at the slate of games, we just talked about the game of the week, I think it's going to be Patriots going up against the Bills, that AFC division on the line for first place. You look at some other games as well. I think, the Cowboys, how are they going to fare against the Saints? That's a game that they need. How is Arizona going to look off the bye with Kyler Murray potentially being back? Can the Rams get back on track? Can the Dolphins continue their winning streak? So many intriguing, good storylines and games to follow this week, Jelani. So it should be another incredible edition of the NFL. Hopefully I can bounce back with my picks. You had a much better week than I did. So we'll see. It's getting close. You've taken the lead. I got to make up some ground. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. This is Luca alongside my co-host Jelani with our NFL Week 13 picks here on Spreadzies. You're watching the parlay. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next week.